Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I am going to do a flip through. I realised I hadn't done one. So the last time you saw this journal, I was making the cover. And I've made two the same, but the cover on this one is different. So I did cover it with fabric. And then I didn't like the fabric, so then I proceeded to cover the fabric in lots of different bits of lace and ribbons that I had. I've done two eyelets on the closure of this one. And then this is some beautiful Stampin' Up ribbon that I thought was just gorgeous for junk journals. So I managed to grab some in the clearance. And I've just, on the front here, I've used some corrugated cardboard there behind, which I kind of inked the highlights of it. And got some cheesecloth, used one of these beautiful images, that's from Artymaze. I made these little labels here, and some cardboard buttons and just some flowers. And just thought she is so beautiful. Covered her in some PVA with a bit of stain in it, some re-inker in it. So I'll go through this one because they are both pretty much the same. So I, on the inside, covered it with some craft card and then some different ripped paper and put some fabric down the spine to give it some strength, and then just use the digitals to make some little pockets there. And I've done a video on how I made these altered journaling cards as well. And I'll flip to the back, and I kind of did the sort of mirror image on the back there. These are just from the kit, and yeah, just a tag there to sort of tie in with the colours that was in the piece of paper that I chose for the signature. So if we're flipping through, so I have done videos on sort of all of these sort of elements. So that's just a little pocket there on top of the tag with a little mini tag going in it. Big tag in the back there, and then that's one of my specimen cards. I've done a video on that, and then I just made some little cabinet card there. I don't think I've done a video on this, might have done, can't remember. And then there's just an old postcard there to form a little pocket in the front there. There's lots of stenciling that I've done, and there's a old document from the old design shop, I think. So some Stampin' Up stamping there. This is just a little bag. I didn't put anything in it. That's just coffee stained. There's an old book which I also coffee stained. I was going to say that's got like a baking tray on there to give that. This is some old flip chart paper that I've had years and years and years, and so it's beautifully you know, beautifully coloured there. So just a simple little pocket there with all these are all in the Vintage Days kit. And then there's some stenciling from Stampin' Up, and one of my favourite script stamps from Stampin' Up, a book page. It's an encyclopedia, quite old. Some old textbooks. My son did a clear out, gave me some of his. I said, if they've got paper still left in it, can I have it please? So he looked at me rather oddly, and he gave it me. So I love the way this is stained. So this is an altered envelope. I did a video on this where I created these pockets, and then on the inside we've got another tag there. I've done videos on making the tags. Another little cabinet card there, and a little pocket there with some ephemera. And so this is just an envelope, straight out the kit. And then when I printed it double-sided. And then I just put a bit of coffee stain paper. I got that idea from Yvonne Preston. I love watching her flip throughs. And she does that, and I thought, how simple. It's all you need, really, isn't it? You could put other sort of goodies in there. Did think about paper clicking, but I haven't done that yet. Some old music paper, and this is, I think I did a video on this where I used candle wax to turn it into like a mock vellum, and just cut. I'm sure I've done a video on making these ones as well. This was book pages that I put paper napkins around in there. Some more nice coffee staining. And oh, this was a page I did using Stampin' Up products. So I've used the little doilies as stencils, and then used the actual doily there. Some nice bits of stamping. This is avocado dyed doily there, which kind of went nicely with this sort of pinkness in this paper, and so then I followed that through with my stamping. And cinnamon cider, I love that colour in the ribbon. I just think it goes really well with a vintage look. So yeah, there is a video on that. I think I've done videos on like everything really. So some more tags. I put some little eyelets in that. Thought that was quite cool. Again, I've done that same thing with putting postcard there to create a little pocket there on the top. My belly band there that I've done with a row of tickets, which I've then stuck it down onto some card and used some coffee stained cheesecloth there behind it. It's one of those double journaling cards, so I just stuck some coffee stained lined paper on there, and this is the centre of the signature. I just decided to give it a nice big bow. I thought quite like that look. There, one of these sort of littler pockets. That's a Stampin' Up ribbon, which I thought went really well with the colour of these roses. It's a Stampin' Up punch there to make this tag, makes them 2 inches wide, which is cool. And then I turn that into like a cabinet card. I love the ragginess of using cheesecloth there. So there is plenty of sort of plain paper for journaling and sticking whatever you want in. That's the other side of that pocket there. And so I'm sort of thinking about the colours and sort of matching them up with the patterns on the paper. That's the other side of that music paper. So I've done some stenciling on this one, and this is an envelope. So I've done a video on how I made the envelope. So I've just used a bit of coffee stained paper, which I've then sort of stamped on, vintaged up, and then added some of the printables. And that one had a bit of paper doily on it to make it quite a strong, robust envelope. And then some more paper there for writing on. You could put other bits in there. It's quite a big envelope. It's quite strong, so you could put some other things in there. Get it that way around. And you could put some paper. I might go back over and put paper clips in these. So that's the other side of that pocket there that I made out of a brown envelope from the tax man. I always say tax man. I know there could be women that work for the tax office. In fact, I got a friend for years who used to work for the tax office who is female. Oh, and there's a little, that's a little tuck spot there as well, but I haven't utilised it with anything. So that goes in there, and we can just see our little lady behind there. Some the other side of that beautifully dyed piece of coffee paper, and the other side of this sort of flipping out for journaling on. Love that. And these are some dyed paper clips that I use, just a floating pocket again. That is me making faux vellum. And yes, another one of those cards. So I've got a playlist on the Vintage Days journal with everything in there that I've made. That's the other side of that. The other side of that bag and the other side of that document. And then this is I did some jelly printing behind this. That's what all these 3 pockets are my first attempt at jelly printing using acrylic paint, and yeah, I turned them into tags. Quite like that. I thought the colour went quite well. Just coffee stained on the back, and liked that. Bit of stenciling around this, the Stampin' Up stencil, and they all fit in nicely, matched up with the same sort of topper, and then we're there at the back. So that is that one, and I say this one is almost, well, I say almost identical. I've used different tags in it. I'd sort of decorated that front bit, which I haven't on the other. Got a different sort of tag in there, but it's the same sort of idea. Oh, and I've added, oh, I need to do that on the other one, added some danglies down the pages, so I need to remember to add that to the others because I haven't done it. And that one hasn't got any lace down the sides, so I need to add those, but they are more or less, I won't go through all the pockets, exactly the same. This one's got a much smaller envelope, so it's got a much smaller piece of paper in there. I've done a little bit more stamping on pages on this one. Got this lovely corner stamp. That paper's much aged than the other music paper, but you know, I say much the same. I kind of sort of matched it up again. We've got our altered envelope there. Again, we've got some school notebook paper. Another one of those little pockets in the centre there, like before. Belly band made in the same way, and again knotted as before. And pockets there with journaling cards. And that's the same as in the other. I've just done it on the other side. Another one of those envelopes that I made. So I did certainly sort of match it up to be the same. It just made it easier with thinking. This one I didn't, I didn't do the toppers in exactly the same ways, and these are not gel plated. They're just covered tags, and that ribbon's come out. Yeah, so there are, you know, some subtle differences, but fundamentally it is the same journal, which was more or less on the same lines as my original. So I made one for me, and so that I did all the thinking, and then I made these two much quicker because all the thinking had been done, and then I did sort of little videos of all the different sort of elements through it. And then that, in the other book, it's on the front, so I did this one at the back. So the same, but, you know, slightly different sort of order. And then the back like the front with a little pocket, quite like that. Might add that. So a nice big pocket there. Oh, maybe need to stick that down a bit better. So yeah, so that is my 2 journals, and on this one I just put an eyelet on the back so that on the front it's easy to just tie a little bow. I would have preferred a little bit longer bit of ribbon, but this was literally all I had, and I thought I'm going to make it work. I think as it grows you probably just get a knot in it, but at the moment that one's fine. So that's my 2 Vintage Days journals, and I thoroughly enjoyed making them, and now I've got to decide what to do with them. So there might be nice presents, or I might sell them if anybody was interested in buying them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again next week with another junk journal video.